Xbox Game Pass criticism continues to mount from people in the industry. I've got CEOs from companies. I've got people who used to work at Microsoft voicing their concerns. This Xbox Game Pass criticism is sort of mounting. We've been voicing our own. Listen, I don't want anybody to think we're anti-Microsoft or Game Pass here. I want Game Pass to continue to be awesome because I like it. I think it can be good. I think it needs to evolve from where it is, and I'm going to base some of that argumentation off of the quotes that I have right here at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to give you those quotes from those people in the industry who are voicing their concerns. As I said, we've got CEOs from various companies. I'm going to do redirect and bring everybody over from this morning stream. We talked about how Xbox turned down Marvel, which I actually think was the right decision at the time. Nobody really bashed Microsoft for that in light of the history and where they were in 2014 when the offer was made. But as I was seeing reports come out, I really wanted to cover this because we have been consistently saying that Game Pass in its current state cannot last very long because of the conflict of interest that it has with the various companies that have been on it. And we are going to do right here at the beginning, I do this update for you with, that's the wrong button. This is not an update. This is an update, and this is all the information that you're possibly looking for. This is a Reforge update. Xbox Game Pass criticism continues to mount, and Xbox fires back on Twitter at an article by Kotaku. I've got it all for you here in this quick update. Hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss those uploads, and check out Reforge Gaming where I stream live. So GameSpot covered this. Former Xbox executive Ed Fries reacted to Game Pass, saying that what Microsoft is doing with the subscription service makes him feel nervous about its potential impact to negatively impact the gaming landscape. So we have a former Xbox executive, and I got two other CEOs who are voicing their concerns about what Game Pass is going to do to the industry. Now, why is Ed Fries, a former Xbox executive, why is he nervous? He told Xbox Expansion Pass that because he sees Game Pass being similar to Spotify, and not necessarily in a good way. Quote, "The one thing that they're doing that makes me nervous is Game Pass." This was reported by VGC. "Game Pass scares me because there's a somewhat analogous thing called Spotify that was created for the music business." Now, I believe he overstates what Spotify has done to the music industry. According to the article, Fry said that Spotify destroyed the music business, which not all experts agree with, saying that Spotify changed listener habits and such people don't really buy music anymore. I think he makes a good observation about a cultural shift, but I think he overstates it. I don't think anybody would agree that Spotify destroyed the music industry. It changed it, and labels had to adapt, and bands and independent artists have seemingly found great ways to succeed. I think the record labels were the ones hurt by Spotify. Here's a great quote, though, about the shift. "People don't buy songs on iPhone, for example, because why would you? They're all on a subscription service app. Apple said they're going to take away buying songs because no one's buying them anymore." This made him give a warning. He's like, look at the shift, look at the change, look at behavioral patterns and habits when subscription services take over, and here's his warning. "So we have to be careful we don't create the same system in the games business. These markets are more fragile than people realize. I saw the games industry destroy itself in the early 80s. I saw the educational software business destroy itself in the mid-90s. They literally destroyed a multi-billion-dollar market in a few years." More from people in the industry on this subject voicing their concerns. Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of GTA parent company Take-Two, has questioned whether or not it's possible for everyone in the chain, developers, publishers, and consumers, to come out ahead with a subscription-based service like Game Pass. "I've always said that the developers are the ones potentially getting left out in the cold here. It's the publishers and the consumers who are making out like a bandit." Zelnick wonders how everybody will benefit. Quote, "For any business model to make sense in the entertainment business, it has to work for the creators of the entertainment as well as the consumers of the entertainment. I think catalogs can make sense for the publishers. It can make sense for the consumers who are avid. Who really wants to access all that product is going to love it. But if you're getting into frontline product, then the economics are much more difficult to make sense of." Essentially saying, launching a brand new title on a subscription service, it's tough to make sense of that because you're not really getting that frontline sale. More concern from the industry from Graham Struthers, the co-founder of Devolver Digital, told GameSpot that his main concern is that subscription packages may become so stuffed with games that subscribers might have difficulty finding something to play. Anyone who has used Netflix is aware of this phenomenon. Quote, "The world of subscription is a worry, and we're active in these areas, so we can't stand on the sidelines and just complain about these things. Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, Apple Arcade, they are things we are participating in. You do wonder if it's going to lead to a situation where there is so much content that you kind of fall off the edge. That's the one that keeps us up at night." Now, Microsoft has fired back because there is more coming out, articles being critical. Kotaku wrote an article that said after years of hype, the Xbox Game Pass burnout is here, and the official Xbox Game Pass Twitter account replied and said, "Tell me you limit yourself to only AAA games without telling me you limit yourself to only AAA games." Now, many people are saying this is a legendary clapback. My take is much different. You just said that Game Pass isn't about AAA. It's about more than that, which is really, really contrary to a lot of the marketing, a lot of the push, a lot of the day and date argumentation that I have heard in support of Game Pass. If it's not about those big AAA games, it's about the smaller titles, the indie titles, that's fine. But that's not how Game Pass has been marketed traditionally. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Head over to Reforge Gaming if you want to watch me live. As always, hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll see the rest of you right now. What do you think? What do you make of this? You got Microsoft firing back. You got industry people saying, man, I don't know. This could be bad. This could be bad for the industry. It could be bad for everybody along the pipeline. A lot of this is similar to things that we have said about Game Pass. I'm not anti-Game Pass. I don't think in its current structure it's going to work long term. I think it's largely going to shift to first party and indies, and even the indies won't be there day and date. Game Pass has too much choice, and that is bad. Well, I think what the guy from Devolver was saying, Hilly, is that if it's so stuffed with games, it gives you paralysis. It gives you choice paralysis. You're like, it happens on Netflix, right? Netflix literally did the just play me something because people had such a hard time choosing. They came up with a feature to let you just be like, yeah, just roll something. Just play me a show that you think I'll like. And, you know, because they were probably noticing people just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and not clicking on anything. That's 100% a thing. It's just decision paralysis. It's like there's too many things to choose from. This happens with your kids. If you give your kids too many choices, they stall out. Do you want to wear the blue shirt or the red shirt? They'll have an easy, they'll pick very quickly. If you're like, do you want to wear the blue shirt, the red shirt? What about the striped shirt? There's a polka dot shirt. There's a shirt with a T-Rex on it. And this one over here is orange with the stripe, and it goes really well with the shorts. They're going to be like, it makes them take way longer to make the choice. That's a microcosm of what it looks like when you have too many things to choose from. I think their response is valid. The article was talking about the lack of AAA games. Regardless of marketing, the point was that there are many other games. I think their response was fine, K-Billy, but to me, it completely seemed backwards after everything we've heard about AAA, Game Pass, day and date, all of that. It was like, wait a minute. That's supposed to be one of the major selling points, right? It happens when you ask your wife where she wants to eat. Right, you're going to have much better luck of saying, like, hey, do you want to eat here or here? Right? You just pick between the two. You're going to have better luck more than likely. At least, you know, that's the theory. Beats Music, before Apple bought it, morphed into their own thing, had amazing curated playlists, and helped you find new music you would like. The suggestions were a killer feature. Yeah, Creature's on the wrong account. Tell me your company doesn't have a unified message about your flagship product without telling me your company doesn't have a unified message about your flagship product. Right, that was Creature's whole thing. He was like, they just walked out there and acted like, yeah, AAA's not really the selling point of that. That's not all that matters. I see a dichotomy developing similar to Netflix and HBO Max, says Eugene. One has decent original content they add day one. Anything else they had to wait for. The other has amazing quality blockbusters immediately. Reforge Radio commenting on Reforge Gaming, trippy. Yeah, redirect always changes the account. Yeah, it's fine. You quesadilla or reverse sear a steak? Yeah. Well, that's not really a choice. That's, do you want the best food that there is on planet Earth, or do you want, a quesadilla? Water Marlin, we had a river raid on the Atari and Bruce Lee on the C64 and Jet Set Willie on the Spectrum. Good times. That was a long time ago. I'm perfectly fine with Game Pass having more indie titles than AAA games because I'm so tired of the BS that comes with the AAA space. I found Conan Exiles on Game Pass and I've been playing it a ton, says James. It falls in line with their marketing to me. AAA day and date is a big part of Game Pass, but it's not the only selling point. Well, sure. I don't necessarily think they broke from talking points too sharply. It was like, what are you talking about? We have way more on there than AAA, way more, and that's kind of what the clapback sounded like. It was like, well, yeah, tell me that's all you care about. We have way more on there than AAA. What are you talking about? As long as you get ketchup with the steak, no. I love the next guy's response. Tell me you have no AAA games coming without telling me you have none coming. Right. It's like, well, I guess that means there's no AAA games coming. That's exactly right, Eugene, which is one of the selling points. It's detrimental for most of it's been very detrimental for most of its existence, says Omar. I don't know that it's a perfect comparison, but Spotify and streaming in general has had a massive impact on the music industry. There are positives and negatives, but as far as legit access, it's been very detrimental for most of its existence. I think the model of the Batman is the way to go. Release individually, then add to subscription service, maximize profit, and add to the consumer options. Yeah, I think launching normal and then ending up on the subscription model, that makes perfectly good sense. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, that bread looks so good. I know, I like it. Lord of the Rings Gollum is set to release on September the 1st. Oh my gosh. The end of the year, if these games actually launch, we're going to have so much to play end of the year. I'm just so worried about fourth quarter launches. They're so tenuous in my mind. Last year just burned me, you know what I mean? Guys, could we get a real quick 30 likes on the video? There's plenty of people here. It's a new stream. I redirected you. So if you're listening and lurking, give me a quick second of your time. Smash that like button. Make sure you're on live chat so you don't miss the comments. Let's have a strong start here. HBO Max is a superior service for a reason, says Eugene. I think AAA day and date was Xbox's loss leader. They got a lot of folks hooked, but it's not sustainable. I see this as the beginning of the evolution. Yeah, the game no one asked for, Gollum, that's right. I think it'll be worth a play. They have their own content they've been able to sell. Here's the thing, Eugene. This is where I think Game Pass starts to soar. This is when Xbox Game Pass starts to soar, is when they can start dumping huge first-party titles on it. That's when it starts to soar. Right now, no. Lono, something has to launch at the end of the year. Yeah, Ragnarok is coming. They're not tied to releasing new stuff for free. I get that. Who's been helped by Spotify? Haven't there been reports that independent artists have done very well on Spotify if they take off? But if they don't take off, it's like pennies, so maybe not. I thought I read a report that there was a lot of indie breakouts on Spotify. I could be wrong. I'm more interested in the numbers behind it all, says Squirtle. They have 25 million subs, but how many are paying $1 and how many are concurrent? Games cost so much, they need a ton of subs to offset it. I agree with Hilly. Everyone's acting like quarter 1 and 2 of 2023 is so far away. These games are coming. For now, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy, Rainbow Six Extraction, etc. All of this is overblown. How's it overblown, Jay Vindictive? It's something that people pay for a year at a time. How is that overblown? Yeah, give me your money for a year at a time. Sweet. And then for that 12-month period, you're like, man, where's all that AAA goodness? What's going on? Oh, it'll be here next year, man. Chill out. What's the big deal? What do you mean, what's the big deal? You sold me on an idea. I paid for a year. It was a bargain. I saved money. I saved money by buying for a year. The difference is they can sell them. Netflix originals to HBO act. Oh, I see what you're saying. They can sell them. From my understanding, and I'm obviously not in the industry, if you want to get to a point where you can have a viable tour and merch and make money that way. Yeah. I know that's where they make most of their money, Zubair. That residual ongoing is just nice, especially if you have like a breakout song or a breakout album. Game Pass doesn't do a year, month to month only, so you could just cancel and wait. Wait, you can't do annual on Game Pass? You need 3 months of Game Pass at 15 to make Game Pass equals to a sold game. Sorry, 4 months. I thought you could buy a whole year. Did they not let you buy a whole year? If they don't let you buy a whole year, then that kind of blows my point away, because anybody could cancel at any time. But they do annual as far as I know, because I think I did it. Just think of it as pre-ordering Game Pass. Game Pass has annual? Yeah, that's what I was saying. 100 games, now nothing from Creature. Last month, the value was too much. What? I don't understand what you're saying, Hilly. It's overblown because you get the value. If you buy an Xbox owning no games previously, there's been AAA releases. They just might not be what you like. Okay, all right. Hang with me, Jay Vindictive, because I don't disagree with what you're saying. I've made similar arguments about PlayStation. If you suddenly found yourself owning a PlayStation 5, PlayStation Plus is going to be a massive value in June. So that's not a bad point. The problem is you're not really talking about the people that we're talking about. We're talking about the 25 million people who have been ever increasing the Game Pass subscriber count. They've been in there since end of last year. So, you know, they climbed to 18 million, then 20 million, then 22 million, then 25 million. Like, just continues to climb. Now, you're basically telling me that all those people, when that report came out in January, if they stay on the platform for the entire year, well, then that's just totally fine. Because there's this backlog of stuff that they may have never played before and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, but hang on a minute. I can't be the only one thinking, pump the brakes. I paid for a year of this. Where are all the big titles? I'm not knocking them or bashing them. I'm saying that in the current situation, they sadly devalued Game Pass with game delays. It's not their fault. Games should get delayed if they need to be delayed. I am not at all faulting them for that. But it's perfectly reasonable for consumers and journalists and bloggers and articles and YouTubers to be like, hey man, I paid for a whole year of this. And you just gutted a lot of the value in the blink of an eye. Can we talk about financing games through paying for a subscription service model and not getting those games? No, not yet. Your position was still terrible. Your position's not suddenly good because people are not getting a game that was delayed or whatever. Your argument was still awful, Corey. Come on, don't even resurface that. It was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing argument from somebody in financials. It just was terrible. I don't think Game Pass is annual. I can't find it anywhere for a yearly amount, just 15. I honestly think like 90% of the subs just for the first party AAA releases. I think your number's a little high, Cliff. But I do think there's a lot of people that do it for the first party AAA. They want all the goodness. They don't want to pay for the big games. Do you expect me to believe that 25 million people signed up for Game Pass so they could have a Rolodex of old games and indie titles? I just don't know if that's true. What percentage of people, because I think Cliff is right, what percentage of people do you think signed up for Game Pass for old games and indie titles? Like, hazard a guess out of the 25 million that were like, oh man, indie titles I've never heard of and outdated old games. Huh? It kind of reminds me of the guy that said the wait is over in 2 years. But if people keep buying all these games and pay for subscriptions, does it mean that they're satisfied from all this, right? Because I hear such opinions. Okay. Let me say, okay, so that's Raging Snake is making a good point. Well, all these people are still on the subscription service, so what's the big deal, right? That's a lot of money for Microsoft. Those people are obviously happy, right, with what they have. Maybe they're not paying attention. Maybe that's the design, right? Is that you forget about it. I don't notice that I haven't watched. I canceled Hulu, and I did it because I noticed we hadn't watched a show in 4 months. So it took me 4 months. They got me for 4 months, man. It took me 4 months to realize we're not using this. And I canceled it. Because we were getting Paramount Plus. And I was like, we're going to be in Star Trek The Next Generation for the next, year of our life. 1 episode a night. Especially if we do all the other shows. So we switched to Paramount Plus. But again, they got me for 4 months, maybe 6 months. I don't actually know. It was between 4 and 6 months. So how many people haven't noticed yet? They're like, well, yeah, I'm not really using the service. I'm not saying that's a problem or like that's wrong. That's just part of why ongoing residual, subscriptions are so good, because people don't pay attention. It's one of those things where it's like, you don't really remember. I used to make this argument with Destiny 1. And one of the reasons I believe people look back on Destiny 1 with rose-colored glasses is because there were these large breaks in content where you didn't play. And because you didn't play, you didn't form a negative memory. You weren't playing. Destiny 2 was structured in a way where people kept playing and they were having a bad time. So it was formulating a negative feedback loop of, I keep playing, I'm having a bad experience, this game sucks, Destiny 1 was better. It's like, no, you just actually ceased from playing. So you didn't form negative memories, right? The same could be said of Game Pass. If no really big titles are hitting for you to install and potentially dislike, you're not forming negative memories about Game Pass. It's just there. You see games hitting all the time. You're like, I'm not interested in that one. I'm not interested in that one. And all of a sudden, 18 months goes by and you're like, wait a minute, we haven't gotten a big AAA title. What's happening here? It's not creating a negative memory, ... yet. The industry analysis, the concern, the criticism, the outcry, the articles that are like, it seems like the hype's kind of fading really fast on this, that will take longer to be represented in the consumer base, but it's very likely a possibility. I think most of the people that got Game Pass when they could buy 3 years of Xbox Live and convert for $1. My big question is, how many people are going to keep going after they actually have to pay the $15 instead of 3 years for $1? Wait, how are people getting 3 years for $1? They were getting 3 years of Game Pass for $1? This is yesterday's news. Today's news is Sony taking back the money customers save from discounted sales bought from Sony. It's today's news because I'm covering it, and we'll be covering the Sony story over on Reforge Radio along with other news stories in the rundown. We need to be clear in separating the consumer experience from the developer experience as we discuss this. Just dead wrong if that's the point. Hang on. There's not even a slim chance that most Game Pass users pay for Game Pass for the day and date AAA releases, if that's what people are saying about AAA releases. It may not even be day and date distorted. It's about AAA. Like, let me just show you something. Let me just show you a little picture here. You ready? Are those indie titles? So when they got a bunch of people to sign up for Game Pass, what'd they put front and center? Big, iconic, well-known, recognizable AAA titles. It doesn't have to be day and date. It's just it's giving you the idea. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That's sensible marketing. You're going to use the most iconic, most recognizable characters. Point being, that's an expectation that people have. That's an expectation that people have. Here's another one. Look at these wallpapers with me, and try and tell me that they have not been trying to get people in the funnel with big AAA titles. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got this one. They added Sea of Thieves. You got this one with The Witcher. These might be fan made. I don't know, but these look official. They might not be official. But you're throwing out. I just did a search for like Game Pass wallpapers. I got another one with Halo, Gears of War, Sea of Thieves. And I'm not faulting them for that. I'm not faulting for them for that at all. Here's one Here's one that's got, you got Psychonauts 2. You got For Honor. I think that's For Honor. You got Minecraft. You got that terrible survival game. Then you got Flight Sim. Do you see what I'm saying? They're clearly saying that's a centerpiece of Game Pass is big AAA titles. Those games are on Game Pass now. Right, Hilly, that's not the point that I'm making. I'm saying that when they've been marketing Game Pass, AAA titles have been a large portion of the focus. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm not highlighting that as something that is wrong. I'm saying that's exactly why people are zeroing in on the lack of AAA titles for the last 12 months. Do you understand? Those are all first party. Okay, but that's the point, though. No, yeah, Grounded irritated the fire out of me. No, I've not seen it, Resident Recon. I've not seen the movie. Hey, bot guy, you can be better than this. Don't sell yourself short. Yeah, maybe. So I'm not saying I am not saying that they shouldn't do that. It makes perfectly good sense for Microsoft to trot out the biggest, most recognizable titles to be like, these are on Game Pass, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is a good strategy. That's a good way to get people in the funnel. But then don't turn around and act surprised when people are like, yo, where's all the big AAA titles? You know, what's going on? Where are they? They converted live subscription into Game Pass subscription for the cost of $1. You front load your live subscription up to 3 years, and then you convert it to 3 years of Game Pass. Oh. How much did they get from you to upgrade, though? All right, I'll put slow mode on. We'll do slow mode. We'll do a 6-second slow mode. It'll make it harder on them. There we go. Grounded is perfect for a family survival game. He got to be crazy. No, we had a terrible experience with it. I had a terrible experience with it. We just kept getting hunted by spiders and dying. Like, it wasn't fun. I don't know. Granted, we were drinking, but still. Well, no, they got 3 years of Game Pass for the price of $1 and can still do it. $180 for 3 years of Xbox Live equals 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate. Omar, I can't believe people did that. You're going to sit here and act like it's such a good deal. Well, yeah, it sounds like a really good deal. You banned that one guy from the first stream today, and he shows up in the second stream. Coincidence? Yeah, maybe not. What happens to the health of the industry, says Omar, if Game Pass cannibalizes actual sales, though? How many subscribers does it take for a game to equal a sale? Streams killed sales in the music biz altogether. That's what the one guy said. If you're just tuning in, there was Xbox Game Pass criticism from a former Microsoft executive, from the CEO of Take-Two, and from one of the joint founders of Devolver Digital, saying this is not potentially good long term. You're going to change people's expectations about games. It affected the music industry. It very likely could affect the games industry. It very likely could. You're wrong. You pay $10 for the Xbox Live Gold and bundle Game Pass Ultimate for $5 more. So many nuances to the discussion, says Sways. Des versus pubs versus consumers. Even consumers are varied. Everyone here is not the average consumer. easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Yeah, I think most of the people in the Game Pass funnel, I don't think they did the conversion trick. I think you're right, because somebody just said that a second ago. I'm not saying that that's a large portion of the people in there. I'm just curious how many people did it, right? Yo, what's good, Mike on a mic? Very weak criticism. I mean, why is it weak criticism, Hilly? So you got a former Microsoft executive, the CEO of Take-Two, and the former, one of the joint founders of Devolver Digital, all saying very similar things. Why is it weak criticism? Don't just say that it's weak, say why it's weak. The industry's one-sided anyway. We give Microsoft too much energy. They aren't competition, and people should not even be worried about their impact. Oh no, Microsoft is going to impact the industry, homie. They bought Blizzard Activision. I'm in the music industry. It did affect the music industry, and yet it still exists. The majors just recalibrated and are making hand over fist. This brings us back to my opinion that it's not for us to protect the devs. It's on the devs to protect themselves. We should look out for our own interests. I would say yes and no. I would say yes and no to that, Zubair. I don't think we can do things that are like degenerate practices of saving money that ends up taking money from the developers. People finding out how to get a loophole to save this or save that or get a return or get a refund or whatever. Oh, you play this game for free if you do this. Stuff like that. I think surely you could say there's degenerate consumer practices that can be damaging to devs. I don't think you're saying that that's all fine and well and good. But I do think that gamers have got to consider their impact on everything going on. That conversion has been available for years, and Microsoft advertised it. None of them bash Game Pass. They just express concerns that it would be harmful to things if things don't evolve. I take their opinions as a warning, especially Ed. The industry has crashed before. Oh, too many games on the Spotify BS. Okay, but you haven't said why that's weak. You're just saying, you're just pinpointing what you think is weak. Why is it weak? Why is that a weak criticism? Take-Two's been milking GTA 5's microtransactions for almost 10 years, and now they care about what's good for the industry. One of the most successful, most played games ever, and you couch it as a sinister thing. How dare they do that? How dare they keep updating and adding to and expanding GTA 5 and making a ton of money and having how do you think they did that, by the way, Robert, for 10 years? How do you think they did that with GTA? How? Who do you think footed the bill? A willing consumer base. A willing consumer base continues to engage with that game, have fun with the game, and support it. And yet they're wrong for that. They're wrong. GTA 5 is apparently bad for the industry. How dare they continue to support, add on, and monetize their property? We would go on to GTA 7 if they hadn't made a live service game. And would that be better for the industry? What is good for the game industry? You've not quantified what's good for the game industry. You just passively asserted that GTA 5 was bad for the industry. Substantiate your point. The way GTA is milking consumers is ridiculous. GTA Plus is a freaking joke. I'm not going to sit here and defend their monetization structure. If you have a willing consumer base and you continue to make money off your property, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That's what they're supposed to do. You think their shareholders would be happy if they just, we better cut bait on this absolute cash cow, because, there'll be people that'll be angry on the internet about it. I've never heard Druid is an absolute melt. Does that mean he grilled a sandwich with cheese? Do the smaller games make money on Game Pass? Does Microsoft just give them money every time? Phil Spencer comment on that. So Phil Spencer's comment on Xbox Game Pass was that the deals are different every time, right? The deals are different every time. Sometimes they basically just subsidize the entire game, and then they can sell the game everywhere. They can sell the game in retail. They can sell the game on other platforms. He basically said that it's not the same deal every time, so it's not specifically the same. It's not always directly to the developer either. I like Phil, but I think it was telling. The only example he would give is one where the money went directly to the developer. Live service and monetization may work hand in hand, but they are not the same thing and need separate scrutiny. Oh, I agree with that. Ongoing monetization does not necessitate live service. Ongoing monetization can be DLC. It could be an updated storefront, and they're not doing anything with the game. They're just updating the storefront. I mean, that would be low-key live service, though. There's different versions of live service to a certain degree. Why people aren't hating on the Netflix of gaming? Well, the one guy said he doesn't see it as the Netflix of gaming. He actually sees it as being too interactive for that. He's like, watching that stuff's passive. And he cited the amount of hours poured into a game and the amount of games consumed in a given month compared to the amount of shows or movies consumed in a given month, especially because it's passive. So he doesn't feel Netflix of gaming is the right phrase to use. The idea that gamers should not support games or pay for games will kill the industry faster than anything. Live service, microtransactions, or buggy content related. Live service and microtransactions won't kill the industry. Live service and microtransactions are literally keeping the industry alive. Seriously. Like, really, really look into what's keeping the industry alive. Is it really, really big, giant, big budget, $60 titles? Or is it ongoing games that update, improve, patch, do a season, do micros, do cosmetics? What's keeping the industry alive right now? What are the most played games? Where's all the money going? Where? We debated this in the previous stream. To continue to paint like microtransactions and live services like the boogeyman, you're not paying attention. Is this a replay of the stream or is this live? Enigma Productions, I am live right now reading chat and discussing it with them. As you just typed in chat, I mean, you can't take part. A past broadcast on YouTube, you can't type in the chat as you just did. It'll just show you the chat. Live services and microtransactions are why games still cost $60 to $70. It really is the Netflix of gaming. Netflix is just the easiest thing and the most commonly used service you can compare it to. Monthly sub with a wide range of titles. And that's what the guy from Devolver was worried about. He was like, well, just like with Netflix, you're going to continue to open up. I'm going to let my Game Pass subscription expire in July. Take-Two makes billions and billions of profit per year. The microtransactions in GTA Plus is not something they need. They're just using it to milk consumers for every penny. Yeah, they're supposed to do that. Good for them. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. I want every developer to make as much money as they possibly can, as long as they're not being dishonest or unethical. If you can point to things that are dishonest or unethical, well then criticize it as dishonest or unethical. I have absolutely no problem with developers and publishers making as much money as they possibly can. That's what they're supposed to do. Do you think you get great, awesome games from companies that barely get by and break even? Or do you think you get great games from companies who make tons of money and then reinvest that money in their game, their property, the technology, expansion, new hires, new departments? They are being dishonest? How? Because typically in these arguments, everybody just points to how greedy they are. As you've used the same phrase multiple times. Just milking... But maybe not you. The same phrase continues to get used. They're just milking the player base. They're just milking the game. How dare they make property and make money off of it? What are they doing that's dishonest? To be fair, we don't get great games from companies worth billions. How are GTA milking the consumer? People enjoy it and pay for things. If you don't like it, don't pay. Vote with your wallet. Look at what they did with Expand and Enhance. What was Expanded and Enhance exactly? I'm not sure what you're talking about. The idea that they're doing something wrong. So this is what happened. So Xbox Game Pass criticism was made by a former Xbox executive and the CEO of Take-Two. And somebody said, oh yeah, we're supposed to listen to Take-Two like they're good for the industry as they continue to milk GTA 5. Oh, the GTA trilogy? I'm not talking about that. I'm responding to somebody who acted as if the ongoing updates and monetization and money making that GTA 5 has achieved, they basically said that was bad for the industry and said that made it so Strauss Zelnick couldn't say anything about Game Pass. The 1 million a shot laser in GTA 5 is nothing but a cash grab. No one can argue against that. Yeah, everything in the world that can be purchased is a cash grab. You've got to get that through your head. The cash grab thing, that's everything is there to grab cash. That's what it's for. Every skin, every DLC, every tattoo, every shader, every single thing that you can spend money on is a cash grab. That's why they design it. We're going to throw this really, really expensive skin out there. It's $20. That's ludicrous. What a cash grab. Yeah, you're exactly right. It is a cash grab. We would like to grab your cash. We would like to have your money. That's what we're here for. You think it's okay for someone to kill you anywhere on the map if they spend money? Now you're talking about pay to win and a disruption of PvP balance and player expectations. That's not what I was talking about. Cash grabs at the expense of the consumer is the problem. Break the cycle, Zubair. Don't let him control you with coffee. $1 million in GTA is like $15, by the way. Okay. Doesn't mean expensive skins are acceptable. It's a digital item worth nothing to you. It's a digital item worth nothing to you. Break it down, Cliff, and see what you just said. You just said video games are worthless. It's just a digital item worth nothing. It is. It's a digital item worth nothing. What are you going to do with the fact that you beat a game and platinumed a game? What is it? It's nothing. It's just digital zeros and ones on a screen. Little trophies, little non-tangible items that you can't do anything with. I can sell it after? No, you can't. Unless you're continuing, the only way you can continue to buy or sell a game, sell a game after and retain some value is if you continue to buy discs. Yeah, trading in the physical game is not engaging with what I'm saying. You said the skin in the game is worthless because it's just a digital item, right? So, you can trade in the physical game, you lost money. Let's say you buy a game for $60, you trade it in, you get like $20. You lost $40. You still have failed to see the problem with your argument. The problem with your argument is if it's digital, it's worthless. Okay, well, you spent $40 to beat a game in a digital world and get digital trophies, and none of that matters. It's worthless because you can't resell it. Yeah, well, so are all the trophies, all the time, all the achievements, all the bosses. Everything you did in the game is worthless. Because you're not taking those items in the game and then selling them to the GameStop. You're giving them a physical disc and you're getting $20, so you're out 40. You threw $40 in the trash. If you got all 60 of your dollars back, you might have a decent argument. But your argument doesn't work because you lost money. You can't do anything with it. Yeah, can you resell a movie you just watched? You pay money. I paid money to watch and own Batman. I can't take it with me. I can't sell it to anybody. I can continue to watch it. Just like I threw $60 in the trash for a skin. I'm saying that if your point is valid, Cliff, then everything you buy that's digital is trash. You're not understanding. Your point doesn't work. The minute you buy anything digital that you can't resell, you've basically been like, I just bought something worthless. You can't do anything. I can't do anything with the Batman movie. I own it digitally. I can rewatch it as much as I want. Just like when you buy a skin, you can put it on your character and run around as much as you want with that skin. By buying a game, you buy the pleasure of using it. Same as a skin, same as a movie, same as a TV show, same as a music. Like, you're buying something that you can't physically put your hands on and do anything with. And therefore, according to what Cliff is saying about a really expensive skin not being quote-unquote acceptable, the way you made your argument is it doesn't work. It's a poor argument because you're basically saying all digital items are worthless. And your argument of like, well, no, I can buy a game and resell it. Well, you still threw money away. You threw $40 in the trash because you can't get all your money back. So you're out $40 for a digital item. A digital item, mind you, that you can no longer do anything with because you got rid of the disc. Reforge Ultimate better be $1 for 3 months of sub. No. What if we can make those digital items unique? There's got to be a way for that. Ooh, NFTs maybe. Why don't they have community stores like Steam? So are you think the CSGO community store where you can resell the skins, you think that's a good environment? Have you ever done any research into how healthy that environment is? You want to do that? You want to be able to buy and sell skins in a market? You know what they're going to do, right? They're going to limit quantity because that's the only way trades are going to happen. And they love trades because they make money on the trades. They make a residual percentage on those trades. So yeah, that's great for the consumer, isn't it? To have a bunch of trading hawks descend on your game and your transactions and your customization options. Yeah, that's great for the consumer. That's just CS. Dota 2 is fine. I'm just gonna have to express doubt that the Dota 2 store is fine according to everybody that's ever looked at it. I can't debate you on the Dota 2 store. I'm not educated, but I have severe doubts that it's like completely great and healthy and awesome and has no problems. The minute you say like a really expensive skin is not acceptable, right? The minute you say, oh, a really expensive skin's not acceptable, you've waded into the waters of ethics and morality about consumable goods, and you've just made a fatal error that you can't argue that. If somebody willingly buys the skin for $20 because they like it, they've nothing wrong has taken place. It's not unacceptable, it's not immoral, it's not unethical. Why is a skin more priced in the game itself? Because the market determines the value of the item, not you. Do you think they should ask you, Cliff? Should they ask you how much an item should be? Or do they let the market determine that? Because when the market determines it, it maximizes profit. Do you feel gaming is unique in that regard, says Lightleap, that customers are so demanding? It seems discussions like this go much deeper than other products, maybe because of emotional connection. Yeah, because when you watch a TV show or a movie, Lightleap, you're not in the show or the movie. Yeah. These games are extensions of our lives and our persons and our personalities and our identities, and that's why people take it extremely personal. If you psychoanalyzed it, I think that's what you'd find. I think that's one of the reasons that Destiny debates always got so passionate, because people really took it serious. Look at how many events they run in that game that are centered around things that just are so silly. Guardian games and faction wars and... Huh? That only works if people are inserted in the game in a personal way. So the publishers ask the consumers and market before pricing things? No, they do market research, and they do market testing, and then they put stuff out there, and then depending on how it sells, they make adjustments. Cliff, I feel like this stuff, like, if you're going to enter these discussions, you just have to have, like, understandings about these things. Like, that's the way the market works. You're coming to the market and trying to use language that doesn't make sense in the market. It doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't sell that water bottle for that much. Try that in the airport or at a ball field or at a movie theater. Try that at the grocery store. This is ridiculous. This is wrong. What the frick are you talking about? That's not the way the market works. They do research, testing. They look at sales saturation, what people are willing to spend. Are they a captive audience like at the airport or the movie theater or a ball game? Like, all these things go into the company saying, we need to maximize our profits. Being like anti-profit and like anti-money, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Because it's like, I want these companies to make stupid amounts of money so that they just keep making these games for me to play. Valorant charged $40 for blue, the color blue. There was no other way to get blue. There's a reason they do it, because it's the only way to get it. They have you. What do you mean they have you? Why do I need blue? Is it compulsory? Yeah, I need blue. Am I being coerced? Not anti-profit, anti-greed. Again, you're getting into morality and what's wrong with greed. What's wrong with a company making as much money as they possibly can to keep their shareholders happy, people employed? You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know which one. I would use the one with the 3 wide, maybe. I don't know. These discussions always boil down to this idealism about companies shouldn't be greedy. Why don't you just admit you've never run a business? Just wear that sign on your shirt. I've never run a business. I've never been responsible for employees. I've never been responsible for profit margins. I've never been responsible for growing something to a profitable level. You just admit that you know so little about like basic business practice when you have a problem with greed. Like, you have this Dr. Claw picture in your mind. Like, there's just these CEOs petting cats that are like, more money, and they're the reason that all this is happening. No, these are gigantic companies, enormous, and they have shareholders. They have a duty. They literally have a legal responsibility to generate profit and gains for their shareholders. They must do it. They're not just like, I want another boat. It's the fiduciary responsibility of the company. It's just like basic misunderstandings about like how these things work. It's greed. They're milking the customer. It's a cash grab. Jiminy freaking Christmas. None of those things even land on the landscape of the discussion. They must do it at any cost? Well, not at any cost. They're not allowed to do illegal things like, well, we could really make more profit for our shareholders if we employed babies and made them run on treadmills. But no, they can't do things that are illegal, immoral, or unethical. So at any cost, let's just employ children. If we make people work 80-hour work weeks and hit them with sticks, we'll get a lot more done. No, it's not at any cost. These companies don't have a blank check. That's why Crunch started to get into the headlines. They loved to get into the headlines. It was like, look, this isn't healthy. You're hurting people. They loved a union bust, though. Well, I mean, it's not up to the downstream user to have sympathy for that. I didn't say you have to have sympathy for that. That's not what I said. I was taking issue with things like a really expensive skin is unacceptable, or it's wrong, or it's a cash grab, or it's greed. I'm not saying have sympathy for it. I'm saying you got to understand that's literally what they're supposed to be doing. If I'm playing a game and I love it, like I love Elden Ring. When I saw they had sold 13 million copies, I wasn't like, that's a little too much money. I want you guys to make money, but I don't want you to make that much money. No, I'm like, oh, that's great. I hope they sell another bundle rest of the year. Because I want this game and this company to be around for forever. I want Hellblade 2 to make buckets and buckets of cash. Why? Because I want Ninja Theory to have an invested interest to say, this is a successful franchise, let's make another one. Why do you think we're getting another Spider-Man? Because the 2 Spider-Man games were awesome, and they made tons of money, and continue to make tons of money. If you like gaming, being anti-greed, like I am totally in favor of being against unethical practices or if they're doing things that are wrong. But the reason we set off on this train of thought, is the CEO of Take-Two expressed concerns about Xbox Game Pass, and someone said, oh, that's the company that's just done nothing but milk their user base in GTA 5 and this and that and the other cash grab. And I'm like, what the frick is wrong with that? They made property and they're making tons of money off of it. And the reason they're making tons of money off it is apparently there's plenty of willing and satisfied consumers that are supporting it. The market's always the answer. I am not some like bleeding heart economist that believes in infinite, growth, but the market always solves these issues. There's a market that's supporting it. And if the market says, no, this is ridiculous, or this is overpriced or whatever, then the games fail and they don't get backed. They go away. The market took care of Cyberpunk. You think they're ever going to do that again? All the money they lost? The shareholders are really unhappy. They might sue. They might have a lawsuit on their hands. I don't know. I've not kept track of the legal side of it. Look what's happening to Netflix. Netflix is potentially being sued by their own shareholders. You don't give people a choice to buy blue. Pay $25 for it. Come on, Lono. Oh, let's look at Halo Infinite, MJ. Let's look at Halo Infinite. The market took care of it. Did it not? Did not the market take care of that? People responded. They probably didn't sell any of the armor cores for blue or for orange. Everybody cried foul, and what are they doing? Reevaluating the entire microtransaction store and how it works. So, if the Valorant player base is cool with spending money on colors, and they're making tons of money off of it, brother, you can shed real, actual tears. You can record a video of you crying about it and actually just bawling your eyes out about how bad it is. It ain't going to make an ounce of a difference. If there's a willing consumer base, if the market responds and says yes, then your voice in the matter, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's wrong for Fortnite to sell $15 and $20 skins. Cool. No one cares. Look at the market. You can cry about that, rant and rave, pound on a podium and scream and yell till you don't have a voice, and it doesn't frickin' matter. The market said this is fine. And is that bad for the industry? Is it bad for the industry for Epic to make buckets and buckets of cash on low effort cosmetics? Is that a problem? Why? Why would that be a problem? Epic has tons of money, so they can reinvest in their game and their engine. They lowered the royalty payout for Unreal, so smaller companies are now switching to Unreal because they don't have to pay Epic as much money. They can continue to expand Fortnite, make Fortnite cooler, better, cooler deals, better experiences for all those people, the live events, the new events, the limited time modes. They just continue to reinvest in it, because why? It's making a ton of money. I wouldn't call those cosmetics low effort. In the grand scheme of development, I would. Go to a development company and ask them what's some of the fastest things you can create. They're going to say cosmetics every time. Character models, animations, world rules, new creatures. Now, when they do a brand new animation set, that might take a while, but those are emotes. But when they make a cosmetic, they make like a cool skin or a backpack or a pickaxe. Oh, come on. My gosh. It's like a replicator in Star Trek. You're just spitting them out forever. It wouldn't be a challenge of making so many different IPs match their art style. I'm not saying... I didn't say that it was like easy, like, oh, they're wearing a blindfold. I'm saying low effort. In the grand scheme of what generates money in the industry, Sven, cosmetics are low effort considering the margin of profit they make. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying, oh, it's easy. This is a joke. They just wear a blindfold and create. No, it's just, in the grand scheme of development, man, that's low effort. You're not making a weapon, a world, a map. Maps have rules, sight lines, things that have to work properly. Characters and guns have, damage output and things that have to work properly. Low effort. Yeah, a skin is easier to make than a $20 DLC. That's a great way of looking at it. How much work goes into a $20 DLC? How much work goes into a $20 skin? Yeah, low effort sounds derogatory. Lower effort than the average piece of content that you have to make, for sure. Netflix isn't and hasn't been sustainable for a while. The warnings were when companies started pulling their shows to their own service. Yeah, people started realizing, wait a minute, we can do this. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking about Xbox Game Pass criticisms continue to mount. The reason we got on microtransactions is because we got on GTA 5 because we were talking about Take-Two CEO, and Take-Two CEO was saying he has concerns about the Game Pass model, essentially saying, how does everybody win in this scenario, right? How does a subscription model work for the developer, the publisher, Microsoft, and the consumer? Somebody's missing out in the deal. It's certainly not the consumer. You make out like a bandit as the consumer. You do. You make out like a bandit. And Microsoft's happy. They've got to be thrilled with filling a funnel of people on a subscription service. It's got to feel great, right? But it may not work long term if they continue to do what they're doing, and that's the concern. You know, devs are going to walk away and say, this isn't working, this isn't profitable for us. Anyone who thinks Game Pass will stay at this value forever is a fool. The content will decrease and the prices will increase. Less AAA third parties are going to want to be on day one. Okay, I'm going to push back on what you're saying, Wheeze. I don't think the content will decrease. I think the content will change. It's clear thus far that it's the devs and creativity that are most at risk. What was the last Netflix original movie you watched and thoroughly enjoyed? Oh, movies? No, shows. I like their shows. I liked Squid Game. I liked Alice in Wonder in Borderland. When do we see the mass exodus day and date? It's already happening. It's already happening. Listen, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. Like, we've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, and now the industry analysts are catching up. And the FTC situation's interesting. You got all these people suddenly dropping Game Pass when the FTC said it was going to be looking into situations like this. Yeah, Queen's Gambit was really good too. I followed a guy on TikTok who was literally listing like mind-bending movies on Netflix, and I was like, I need to check all these out. They sounded really, really good. One had the guy from Squid Game in it. The guy that makes it to the end, who wears the who has the glasses. Eugene says he's been saying it for years. Yeah, some of you guys were banging on this drum before I was. I started to agree with the idea that, like, it could be hurting sales, it could be hurting sales. And then my tone really shifted when I saw people canceling their Outriders pre-orders, and I was like, this doesn't seem healthy. This seems bad. Better Call Saul's not a Netflix original, though. That's AMC. Yeah, Crown. The Crown is wonderful Netflix original. I'm really looking forward to the next season. Gillian Anderson was just an absolute just piece of dynamite for playing the Iron Lady. That was, oh my gosh, so good. Yeah, Ozark was, a lot of people like that one. I had to tap out. It got too dark. It was too melancholy. You can be both correct and a hater. They'd rather release a bunch of car and apartments that you can't even afford by playing the very activity that it comes with, an actual casino in the game that you gamble in. Yeah, Stranger Things is done, really well. They're about to do their final season. It's going to be a stupid amount of content. Cartoons, I'm out. Ah, come on. I'm watching the Last Kingdom series on Netflix right now. I like it. Yeah, I mean, this is what I think is going to happen with Game Pass. I think Game Pass is just going to evolve. I don't think the value is necessarily going to go away. It's just going to change. The idea will be, hey, we have a lot of AAA titles. They don't land here day and date, but that doesn't matter. Think of it from this perspective. This is one of the things that Eugene was really big on a while ago, that, like, people only buy a couple of games a year. Think about what that means for that pepper jack cheese. It got me, like, right in the back of the throat. It's not even that spicy. think about what that means, though. Let's take the idea that people don't buy a lot of games in a given year, and let's apply that to the user base on Game Pass and what that means for the value and what the value could look like. So imagine you get to the 7th month of the year. Imagine you get to the 7th month of the year and you've passed on a bunch of games that year. You just haven't. You haven't been playing them. You bought one or two, and a couple of the games that you passed on are suddenly on Game Pass. That's a great value to you because you're like, well, not only am I getting all of Microsoft's first-party stuff day and date, Starfield, Redfall, anything that's Microsoft owned, I get day and date to try out Scorn, that horror game, okay? And then you're also getting, I'm not saying this is going to happen, I'm saying this is what could happen. Microsoft could just start kicking games down the road. 3 months after a game is out, you're getting that game. And consumer habits actually point to that being a value point to the consumer. So if I was going to argue in favor of Game Pass, if I was going to put my Microsoft fanboy hat on and be like, nope, Game Pass is totally fine, and here's why, I would say the average consumer only buys a couple of games a year. That means as long as Microsoft can continue to get big AAA titles to land on Game Pass, eventually it's still a great value because the average consumer is going to grab that subscription service and say, I don't need to play a lot of these games as soon as they come out. There's one or two that I need to play as soon as they come out. The rest of these games, I can play them as they hit Game Pass, and I get all of Microsoft's property day and date. That's still a great value to so many consumers. I don't think Game Pass is in trouble. I just think Game Pass has to change. They have to move away from anything third party just can't land day and date because it's a threat to total sales. If they move away from that and say, listen, all first party Microsoft property is day and date on Game Pass, they're about to have a lot of property under their umbrella. Blizzard, Activision, Bethesda, all that stuff can hit day and date. That means that all throughout the year, you're getting big titles from Microsoft day and date, and you're getting a lot of other AAA titles on Game Pass. You're just getting them a few months after they launch, which should not be a problem for the average consumer because the average consumer only buys a couple of games a year. So I don't think that like, oh no, man, Game Pass is going to have mass exodus. No, because the average person's like, that's no big deal. I'm only buying a couple of games a year anyway. Those games can hit Game Pass 3 or 4 months later, and I'll check them out. Perfect example would be Guardians of the Galaxy. How many people completely passed on Guardians, number one, because of Avengers, number two, maybe it didn't look like it was their cup of tea, or number three, it just wasn't in the budget. They had already bought in a couple of games for the year. They set aside money monthly or annually to buy games, and they're like, no thanks. It hits Game Pass, and they're like, oh, dope. I get to try it out now. Thoughts on the FTC about to drop the hammer on Microsoft, and thoughts on 343 getting smacked too, because they didn't divulge they paid influencers they brought out to work on the game. A lot of those influencers are in trouble, man. A lot of those influencers are in trouble. I knew something smelled funny. When I watched that one guy's video. And he showed how all these influencers acted as if they had never played the game. Just a bunch of liars, man. Just liars. This guy has a really great video showcasing how it's very, very clear that influencers were involved and saw the game and played the game and experienced the game, and then they postured during launch week as if they hadn't seen the game. Something smells real funny there. It's going to be another one of those, yeah, you didn't divulge this, you're getting fined. A lot of these influencers are in trouble. I guarantee you. Listen, I've been in the industry a really long time. I've had up-close personal experience with corruption, with developer meddling with content creators. I've seen it firsthand. I'm telling you, something fishy is there with Halo Infinite. Something's going on. Can I link the video? No, I don't want links to videos in my YouTube chat. The influencers lose credibility, but the punishments for Microsoft and 343 are not going to be sheet? What game is this? It was Halo Infinite. It was Halo Infinite. It was a really, really good video. And all of a sudden, a lot of these influencers are coming out and saying that they're canceling Game Pass. A lot of the super, super pro Halo Infinite, a lot of them, oh, what's this video? I can't even remember the name of it. Does somebody know the name of the video so we can point people to it? It's a really good video. Like, he shows clip after clip after clip of people walking up to weapons and acting bewildered as if they've never seen them. You got it? Posting it in Discord? All right, hang on. I'm the opposite of that. I buy all games and they end up on Game Pass, and I say, darn, I should have waited. The video is probably from the Crazy Pony King Thrash. Homie, this isn't... No. This was a Halo fan that made this video. This was not a Sony fanboy. Posted in which channel? Just go in general chat. Should let you do it. If you're a member, you could post it in like the members only chat, but you're not a member, so just use the general chat. I'm not calling you out, but you have to use specific chats when you're not a member. There's only like you can't see as many rooms when you're not a member. That 100% was not a call out. Yeah, I've watched this video. It was from a guy called Roadman. I'm canceling the Halo community. YouTuber's name is Roadman. Roadman. I'll show you what the video looks like. I'll pull it up. You can see it. I'm canceling the... Oh, frick. Hang on. Oh, I had the thumbnail, and it's gone. And the thumbnail is, the Halo community needs to change. The Halo community, the lows of gaming culture. Here, I'll put it right next to me. You ready? Let me zoom. I'll do one zoom in. It's right above me. It's right above me. I am canceling the Halo community. 24,000 views. And then he did This Game Will Die. So most of his videos don't do this well. So bully for him. Oh, the company that failed Halo, 343 Industries, 131,000 views. Good for him. Yo, Eknor. First new member of the day. Thank you for jumping in, Eknor. You get 4 perks as a member. Increase access in the Discord. Access to a weekly AMA. Access to my members-only Madam streams. And then a once-a-month community game night. All of those perks get enhanced if you upgrade to Tier 2. One of those perks is you can make my wife and I play games on a Friday night. Save to watch later. Yeah, this guy's video, I'm telling you, it was mind-blowing. I was watching it and I'm thinking, these people can't be this stupid. They all did it too. They all did it. It was like they were given talking points of things to highlight. They would all go up to the same weapon and say almost the same thing. It was eerie. It was super, super eerie. Followed you on Purple, came back now after a long break from social. No worries, Eknor. Welcome back. I remember you. Lawnmower? Yeah, they're mowing today. What's even more funny is Sketch had to put out a post defending Ubernick and others for being paid. Like, dude, we know they got paid. Yeah, of course they did. Why does it matter if an ecosystem built on monthly subscriptions has people canceling and returning only for big releases? Yeah, that's not good for it. I don't care. New Halo was fun. It was a free game, win-win. Like it a lot, clean game. Well, here's the thing. Homie, we're not talking about whether or not the game is good or fun. We're talking about the FTC getting involved and people getting in serious trouble. Like, this isn't the first time this happened. This isn't the first time Microsoft was embroiled in something like this. Don't you remember years ago when the Xbox One, they paid YouTubers to make videos claiming how great the system was, and they didn't divulge that they were paid? That was like a huge story. Yeah, you're not eating a good burrito if it needs tape. That's right. The FTC can get them for it since they never divulged the fact that they had the Forerunner Council work on the game. They didn't say anything about it until their names appeared in the credits. 2 months from Omar. Ayy. Somewhat untrue, though, because I subbed back on purple. Thank you so much, Omar, for hitting the 2-month milestone. That's their fault. Don't affect me. I'm just a gamer. Modern Warfare 102822 announced. Did that literally just break? Checking my feed now. Modern Warfare 2 making a comeback. Ghost Face has the Gulf of California on it. Oh yeah, they tweeted. Well, we got a release date. We got a new lead creature. Yeah, they tweeted 16 minutes ago. I mean, there's not much to say other than to look at the artwork and announce it. The FTC is looking into reviews that were basically paid for and not divulged. I mean, let me try and find the news story. Where is it? FTC game reviews. FTC cracking down on influencers and companies promoting fake or misleading reviews. That's the story. Which, honestly, isn't a new story. This is not something that's new. Video game influencers may now get in trouble for promoting fake, misleading reviews and or not disclosing paid endorsements or sponsored content. This was published this last Sunday. The United States Federal Trade Commission has proposed strengthening advertising guidelines against manipulated reviews and has especially warned marketers who are behind stealth advertisements targeted towards children. From EA to Activision, major game publishers have turned to influencers in recent years to promote their video games. We're updating the guides to crack down on fake reviews and other forms of misleading marketing. And we're warning marketers on stealth advertisings that targets kids. Whether it's fake reviews or influencers who hide that they were paid to post, this kind of deception results in people paying more money for bad products and services, and it hurts honest competitors. I guess 343 and Halo are caught up on it now. I don't know. People were saying that as soon as that happened, all of a sudden you had all these people saying Like, all of a sudden you had people saying like, hey, I'm canceling my Game Pass, right? Mod's a bit slower today. No, it's because he hangs out in chat. He waited for me to be reading an article to do it. Stream delay, right? He sees me reading an article and then he does it. I wasn't looking at chat. Somebody said, from my understanding, this all happened because of what happened with Infinite, and Gene Park and company tweeted out that they were canceling Game Pass. Really? Why'd you hide this? Everyone is here to F sounds excellent. Eknor with, I don't know what that money is. 1800 something. I just got a Series X and a PS5. Infinite single player was fun. Had to get Xbox Gold for online play, and Game Pass will always be great value. Thank you so much, man, for the tip. I'm not a mod. I just naturally look this way. Is it rupees? Should we update our lead, title, and thumb for radio now? Make me a mod so I can ban Wheezy? You are a mod, you moron! $23 USD. Yeah, I see $23.19 on my chat revenue, but I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember if anybody else had tipped because we did 2 streams. No, you made adjustments? Yeah, but Warzone 2 release date's not what was revealed. It was Modern Warfare 2 release date. We don't have a Warzone 2 release date. Wait, you're putting Modern Warfare 2 will change up skill-based matchmaking. That's not what the report is. The report is that it's Warzone 2 that's going to get the skill-based matchmaking. Oh, Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 leaks. No, I'm sorry. You read it correctly and I read it incorrectly. The headline has MW2 in it. I didn't see that. I saw Warzone 2 spelled out. I didn't know that it was also about MW2. My bad. Get out of your stuff. I'm not in your stuff. I'm just looking at the scheduled stream. Oh, he's coming in 2 at a time now. Act like you own this? I do. I thought it was Warzone 2. I didn't know Modern Warfare 2 was included. Halo Reach is better than Infinite. Man, I was so hungry. Well, I tell you what. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Lono got glasses and he still can't read. We're gonna have to start being more flexible when gaming news is really dry. This second topic this morning was great, and this topic was great, but after an hour we've completely run out of gas. So what we need to do, especially given that they just announced the release date of Call of Duty, is we just need to jump on this and head over to radio. Our lead topic was already about Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 anyway. So hang on a second. What's Creature saying? I need to update that premiere. Yeah, I'm bailing. We're dead in the water. We fell off whatever we were on. We started out really strong with this one, and an hour in, we're done. Is Warzone 2's release date what everybody's going to be searching for, though? "10 minutes ago, Modern Warfare 2 official release date trailer." There's even a trailer that released. You got 19 minutes? Okay. Do watch parties for the Obi-Wan shows? Yeah, I don't really do that. I watch shows with my wife. Yeah, Warzone 2 is going to be separate. That's what I'm saying. Oh, he updated it. Modern Warfare 2 release date, Warzone 2 leaks. There we go. Okay, he updated it. He's so fast. I didn't even see it. I just saw us in search results. Rather spend time with your loving wife than us. Where's the trailer? Did they put the trailer on? Did they have like an official channel? Like a Call of Duty channel? There's no trailer, just reveal for the art. This guy says official release date trailer. Yeah, where did he get this? October 28th. It's on Call of Duty Twitter and YouTube. "34 minutes ago. I got it. I found it. Okay. It's an artwork reveal that also announces the game's release. Have you duped me? I'm not duped you. They tweeted it and they have a video. These PS pricing things are going to get spicy. Yeah, we're also covering that in the next stream. All right, let me give you guys. We're just going to start being more flexible because in our mind, it's like you're getting a talk show all day long. This obviously means we go to a different channel, but if redirect works, it shouldn't really affect you. It's still the same, it's still the same voice. It's just a very different style of show. The rundown's intended to be a bunch of gaming news, while over here we take one topic and kind of beat it to death. All right, I'm going to put a link in chat, and I'm also going to redirect you over there. And we're going to discuss, there's more than just the announcement from Modern Warfare 2's release date. There's skill-based matchmaking changes coming. There's really angry PS Plus customers. The other topics we'll be covering over there is also everything we know about Assassin's Creed Infinity and the first successful union has formed. So there's also the hidden date. Yeah, it could be a gameplay reveal. All right, that link in chat is where we're headed, and I'm also redirecting you. All right, I'll see you guys over there.